Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Haley coming live and direct to you from Google Slides. Today's lesson is going to be all about the first civilizations in Mesopotamia and Egypt. When you find this video on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Why not? A note, as I've delivered these lessons and put my information in Google Slides, things like the images, text, and videos, I've done my best to add the sources where they came from. I just wanted to put a big shout out to the My Open Book project. This lesson has a lot of information from their 7th grade Ancient World History textbook. And with that, let's get started on Mesopotamia and Egypt. Now, you may have thought you could escape geography, but you can't. Geography matters whenever and wherever. Civilizations and cities nearly always started near water. These rivers spread fertile soil during floods, irrigate your crops, provide clean drinking water, and can be used for trade. Not trading like water for a loaf of bread. You can take your entire harvest and trade it with someone else for goods and maybe even services, going and using a boat. So that is the trade that we're talking about. As far as rivers and civilizations nearly always starting near them, if you look around the world, almost every single major city is next to a river. London, Paris, Moscow, for example. All of these right near river sources. Continuing on here. What? Geography still matters. Okay? As we look at these ancient trade routes, these things, you'll notice them going by the Tigris and Euphrates rivers because, as we will learn, Mesopotamia means the land between rivers. So, be aware of that. Moving on here. What makes a civilization a civilization? Well, we see for the first time ever in Mesopotamia, about 5,500 years ago, the first group of cities and cultural development being very advanced for the first time ever. Now, this was previously impossible because civilizations, before they could really begin, they needed a stable food supply. So, speaking of stable food supply, how do you get that? It took a revolution, the agricultural revolution. I mean, without farming, without agriculture, you don't get cities, you don't get civilizations, you don't get what we live today and how we live today. Characteristics of these civilizations, and this is coming from the My Open Book. You need cities, government, and law, systems of writing, skill specialization, social systems, complex technology, and perhaps organized religion or a creed. We're going to look briefly at all 7 of these, and you'll notice that these pop up not just in our ancient civilizations, but today. So, first on the list, city of Uruk, the first great city ever. Could handle 40, 50, 60,000 people some 5,000 years ago. So before this, though, before you could have megacities, again, you needed the stable food supply. If you couldn't do that, you were a hunter and gatherer. You were always on the move, chasing animals so you could eat them. Now, this is the first time ever the humans stop moving and they stay in one place. So things had to change. What about people living together without fighting? How can you feed that many people? What do you do with all the waste and garbage? To solve all these questions, you had to develop laws and government. So, number two, government and laws. You needed that to be enforced by the government, by the rulers, in order for people to get along and live together. Things that help you get your laws down so everyone understands them is a system of writing. Now, almost every single civilization, especially the early ones, had some form of writing, but not all. If you look at my note, Inca in South America, and I'll even put in the Cahokia in North America, great cities, no writing, as far as we can decipher. Social systems. You can read through this, but yes, there's different classes of people, especially with leaders and rulers at the top, and everyone else kind of following suit. Now, when you don't have to hunt down your food, you can do things like become a priest, a soldier, an artist, a blacksmith. You can make things, literally anything else other than producing food. All right, technology. You may think your iPhone or computer or PlayStation is a complex piece of technology, but in ancient times, we're talking wells, plows, arches, the wheel. That stuff's pretty complex considering that before that, you pretty much had what you had for hunting. Moving on here, last one, religion, creed, and worship. As we look at these other old civilizations, you'll see that they all worshipped their own gods in their own way, and that set them apart from other places around the world. Now, the first one, Mesopotamia. We call this the cradle of civilization because over 5,000 years ago, in modern day Iraq, you have the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, which is when the area we're calling Mesopotamia, literally the place between rivers. Got a nice video here from National Geographic on ancient Mesopotamia and introduces that to you. So as you look through here, many of the most important inventions that have ever come to the world come from Mesopotamia. Things like time, math, the wheel, sailboats, maps and writing. Literally some of the most important things ever came from where modern day Iraq is and where ancient Mesopotamia was. All right, as you go through here, each one of these have links if you want to check them out. The ones that have a star next to them are found in the Khan Academy lesson as well. So, if you're not a fan of reading, ancient Mesopotamians would not be very impressed. Okay, we learn here that Mesopotamians developed writing. They were the first ones ever to use it, cuneiform. In there, you'll find out all about it. Now, geography. It still matters. Technology edition. Once we've reached these civilizations, something incredible and amazing happens. The Stone Age ends. How long is the Stone Age we're talking here? Literally hundreds of thousands of years. Not just humans using stone tools, but we've got other hominids that use stone tools, including Neanderthals, including Homo erectus. All of those use stone tools. For the first time ever, we see bronze being made and metalworking. Okay, obviously this is important because they became stronger and more useful as tools and weapons. So we can thank our ancient Sumerians for being the first ones to really perfect the art of making bronze and metallurgy. And we find geography continues to matter here. Ancient Egypt edition. Now, while Sumeria and Mesopotamia might not get as many videos or as much pop culture references. We know that we see Egypt regularly and hear news about them. Everyone's familiar with movies that have to do with Egypt and mummies. So, what about it though? You've got to know Egypt, without its geography, would not be what we know it is today. You had to have the right geography. You had to have the Nile River. You had to have exactly what they needed in order to create all the amazing architecture and writing and civilization that they made. Here's a slide just based on the beginning. It references the Fertile Crescent. If you didn't catch that in the lesson, Fertile Crescent is the whole area that extends from Mesopotamia down to Egypt, following along a little bit of the Mediterranean coast. All right. In Khan Academy, it does talk about a group called the Hittites in the Battle of Kadesh. What's important about this is it's really the first major battle that is completely written about, and we know who was involved and what happened. We also find some amazing technology from this group, the Hittites. A lot of people were using the chariots then, but they seem to have come up with a really good and effective way to use it. They battled with the Egyptians and their pharaoh and ended up with a draw, essentially. So, want to learn more? I have some awesome ancient Egyptian videos. Check it out. Crash Course, National Geographic, The Info Show. They all have wonderful videos. And I think if you need to know a little bit more about pyramids, which are super interesting, check out the It's Okay to Be Smart videos. There's 1 and 2 to check. If you're looking for a hint, aliens did not build the pyramids. Anyways, that's it with Mr. Haley. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, I'll see you in the Google Classroom. I'll see you on Remind. Goodbye.